We had to build this ecosystem, right? We launched it in January of last year. We had 3 brave partners that had helped us work out the kinks. We had 160 active developers on the platform in December. That was only limited by the amount of cloud capacity I had to give them instances of Watson. We had 3,000 partners trying to get on the platform last year. So we've ramped that up this year as we've added the APIs to our Bluemix platform. Right? We've started making Watson available through resellers, and we've opened it up to universities. Actually, here at the University of Michigan, Eric Mickelson was meeting with me last February, and he said, you should teach a class on Watson. People would fill it up. Right? We said, that's a good idea. By the time I got home that night in New York, one of the Jeopardy creators and I had designed a class to be taught. 3 weeks later, we had 10 universities signed up to teach that class last fall, right, which is record time in academia to get something into a course catalog. Right? 10 universities, little universities like Michigan, Ohio State, Northwestern, University of Toronto, University of Texas, Austin, Stanford, Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, NYU, RPI, medium schools, right? They taught the class. The best ideas actually were brought together for a contest in January, and the schools competed against each other for $100,000 of startup funding. That competition went pretty well. Michigan showed well but didn't place, I guess is the right terminology. We're in the middle of the pack. The team here under Dave Chesney picked an enormously complex problem to work on around a very difficult part of medicine, which is the most complex kind of solution to build. Some of the other teams picked a little bit easier domain and built some really compelling solutions, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. These are the partners that are lined up right now, right? Lots of them. Interesting companies. Some old school ISVs that have adopted cognitive technologies. Most of these are startups. This is one that won an award at the Computer Electronics Show last month, the beginning of January. It's a company called LifeLearn. They built a product called Sophie. Sophie is a diagnostics assistant for veterinarians to help veterinarians diagnose what's wrong with your dog and your cat. Right? It's a great application. It's using the same concepts that we used in the oncology project, but to focus on a completely different domain. How many people know who Terry Jones is? Famous entrepreneur. You've used his companies. He's the creator of Travelocity and the founder of Kayak. Right? You might have used those tools to make airline reservations at some point in time. Terry was retired on the speaker tour, enjoying life. He saw the Watson technology, and he came out of retirement and launched a new company about 3 months ago called Wayblazer. What he decided was, with Watson, he could actually fix a problem with Travelocity and Kayak. The thing that got left behind was the person that had sat on that beach, ate in that restaurant, been in that hotel room, been on that cruise ship, the travel agent. Right? He automated the transaction processing side of travel with Travelocity and Kayak, but you lost the experience of the travel agent, the person that advised you on what to do. So he's building a company that now creates the virtual travel agent that knows you, understands what you like, and can make recommendations for you on what you want to do on your vacation. Right? One of his dirty little secrets he told when he started this is, even though he created Travelocity and Kayak, when he goes on vacation, he calls a travel agent. He missed that. So now he's building that with Wayblazer.
My name is Bree Conley. I'm from the University of Texas at Austin. We built an app to change the way call centers work. So instead of having to talk to a human operator, you can ask questions to Watson.
I actually loved Watson when I was in high school because the only episode of Jeopardy I've ever seen is that episode that Watson was on. When a computer's on, I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. I'll actually watch it.
Watson. Who is Franz Liszt?
You are right.
What is violin?
Good.
Who is the church lady?
Yes.
So I always thought, like, man, I really want to work on this someday. So I was like, oh, look, I'm working on the thing that I thought was really cool. really helped motivate me to get into this field, man.
Yeah, when I was in high school watching Watson on Jeopardy, I mean, I knew I wanted to do something like that, but I had no idea I would actually be working with Watson within just a few years actually after that. It's a pretty incredible experience.
I think Watson is unique in the sense that data scientists can finally focus on the application because Watson is doing the heavy lifting. And coming from an academic perspective, it's so refreshing because finally, we have this long list of problems that we want to work on, and we don't have to sit down and start from scratch and writing the algorithms. I think that is how Watson is going to transform business. Watson is going to deliver data science as a service. I think that's pretty revolutionary.
I'm pretty excited. I honestly think we have a good chance. We put so much work into it though, and no matter what, it's not necessarily just about the competition anymore. It's about more than that. So we're happy with what we've done and what we've been able to do for our community. So ultimately that is it's kind of like we already won in a way, and this competition is just the icing on the cake.
And the winner is University of Texas.
There was kind of an initial shock of what can Watson really do? And we really kind of just discovered that Watson can do as much as you can make Watson do.
So what are the lessons learned about doing a startup in a large corporation? They're very similar to the lessons that you do when you're doing a startup in an incubator. You just have a little bit more access to resource, right? But what's been interesting, my colleagues and my boss, Ginny, actually held us to the concept of we needed to be self-contained. We needed to understand how startups really worked because we needed to act like them and think like them and make decisions like them. So we looked at how to do this. So we realized that we couldn't do it alone. We needed to create an ecosystem around us of people, of skills, of ambassadors. We were a small part of IBM. There's 400,000 employees. We were 1,000 at the time, right? How did we leverage that? So we created the Watson University internally. We had a MOOC inside that allowed people to get smart on Watson. If they passed the test, they got a social badge. They became a Watson ambassador. We enrolled 80,000 other people in the company to help us build our business without having to pay for them.